Oliver from Rugby League, in my opinion, here today with a very special guest, Huddersfield Giant and current Swinton Lions loanee, Ronan Michael. How are you today, man?
I'm good, thanks. Cheers for having me on. Looking forward to chatting with you.
Yeah, no worries. We did the article together sort of late last year for Everything Rugby League, and we've been sort of on and off in contact since. And I've always wanted to be able to do this interview with you, especially due to what you've actually been able to do this year in the championship with a couple of sides there. First of all, though, I want to bring up the Rugby League World Cup just quickly. I want to get your thoughts on that. Obviously, it's been postponed to 2022. You would have obviously been looking to play for Ireland in the World Cup. Just from a personal standpoint, was it a bit of a disappointment hearing the news? And are you looking to be playing for Ireland next year in the World Cup?
Oh, mate, absolutely. I was gutted when I heard the news. Like, I was absolutely gutted. Like, obviously, rugby league is one of those sports that you never know. You never know what could happen next year, next season, next week. And obviously, I'm in a position now where I'm playing week in, week out in the championship, and my body's feeling fit. So I was looking really forward to getting involved in the camp. We were starting to get things put together in terms of like getting to see like the basis of the teams and the train on squads and stuff like that, and just starting to see like all the boys in the WhatsApp chat, and the momentum and excitement was really building. Like I was getting texts like non-stop saying from people back home in Dublin saying, "Oh, we're booked in for the Ireland Jamaica game, flights, hotel, everything booked. Looking really forward to the game." And obviously that was a huge letdown and disappointment for me and for everyone back home that the World Cup's after being cancelled. But I suppose like one of those things is that you want to test yourself against the best in the world, and if with New Zealand being in our group, especially that's obviously when that news came out that the World Cup could still be going on without them. That was a bit like, oh, okay, it's not the same. Do you know what I mean? You want to play against the best players in the world. Like they're there for a reason. Do you know what I mean? So it's one of those ones. But obviously the main emotion was just kind of let down and disappointment seeing all the Olympics and those kind of things go ahead. But from a personal standpoint, I suppose I can only look at it as maybe potentially positive news as long as I keep going in the direction I'm going. Hopefully, come next year, I'm in a better position to potentially play more games in the World Cup and be a year older, a year more experience in a year, obviously more grown and stronger and fitter and into my body, ready to kick on and hopefully make a real big impact in that World Cup if I do get chosen to represent Ireland in any of the games.
Yeah, definitely. And I guess in a way it's a bit of a silver lining too, because you do bring up New Zealand and wanting to face them. Obviously, if the World Cup had gone ahead this year, you wouldn't have been able to face them. But now, with it being postponed to 2022, it's very likely that Australia and New Zealand will be playing in that tournament now at full strength. So you will get to test yourself against, well, the 2008 World Cup champions. So not too long ago there. I want to move now to sort of the start of this year. Being in that Huddersfield Giants fold at the start of the season, tell us a bit about how your season started out. Obviously, you would go on loan to Whitehaven for a little bit. Tell us a bit about how that loan spell came about and why it was so short.
Well, pretty much at the start of the season, I was I wasn't getting picked. I'm still like a young player. Obviously, I haven't got too much Super League experience, and that's kind of common knowledge for us young lads. We're all kind of in the same boat at the minute. But with the pandemic coming along last year, obviously a lot of our development was slowed down. Like we had a long period in lockdown, and then reserve grade was cancelled. So this year we were kind of in this limbo where if you're not in the 17 playing Super League this week, you're just getting flogged pretty much. You're just doing running, and you're not playing reserve grade. You're not getting no game experience. And for me personally, obviously pretty new to rugby league as a sport, like fresh enough and learning the game. The biggest thing for me was to get as much game experience this season as possible because like that's what I need. I need those hours. I haven't done like a full academy system. I haven't done any of that. I haven't played too much like first grade, so that for me it was the most important thing was to get as much experience as I possibly can this year. So we're in a few weeks of not playing for Huddersfield early in the season. I just spoke with my agent and spoke with the club, and we just reckoned it was best for me to start getting myself out on loan as quick as possible and just kind of gaining that game experience. But so I'm obviously, because I'm with Huddersfield, I live in Huddersfield, but the club that ended up looking for that needed a middle that needed a prop at the time when we were looking was Whitehaven, which is up in Cumbria, which I can't put a bad word past them. They took me in straight away, all looked after me, gave me that initial experience I needed in the Championship. I played for 4 weeks with them. I was up there for about a month with them at the time. After kind of a good few months of just not playing at Huddersfield and doing loads of non-squad, so I was so grateful for that experience to kind of kick on and finally get playing. But the reality was that it's a 3-hour drive there and a 3-hour drive back for me to be travelling. So like, while it was very good to get my foot in the door in the Championship and and I can't put a bad word past them. They're a great club, great players, and gave me that opportunity to kick on in Championship. The reality was that it was just really, really far to be travelling like 2 or 3 times a week, to be going up there on my own, and just a lot of driving, and it wasn't exactly ideal in terms of recovery or anything when you're sat in a car for 6 hours of your day. So it gave me the foot in the door, and had I lived closer, you never know, I mightn't have even stopped playing for them this year. I probably could have stayed up there, but that was the reality. But at the time, when it was time to get myself playing, they gave me the opportunity and kind of gave me the door into Championship, which was class, really.
Yeah, because I remember seeing, obviously, following along with your socials and the socials of Whitehaven and Swinton as well, who we'll get onto. I noticed when that loan spell ended, it was quite short. And, for a loan spell to end and then for you to go on loan with another club straight away, I thought, it mustn't just be due to the fact that Huddersfield have called you back because you've gone straight back out on loan again. So that obviously makes a bit more sense. So now we do go into the Swinton Lions. How did that deal come about? And tell us a bit about, is that easier for you for travel? Tell us a bit about how your time's been at the club so far.
Yeah, no, it's been very good. Again, it was just one of those ones. I'm still looking for game time. I've been I was at Whitehaven, and then the head coach of Ireland, Stuart Littler, obviously at this time, a couple of months back, we thought the World Cup was still going ahead, and Stu gave me a bell and said, listen, I've seen what you've been doing up at Whitehaven, and he was head coach of Swinton at the time as well. And he said, listen, I see what you've been doing at Whitehaven, and he obviously knew me from Ireland. We're kind of short on middles as well. If you're interested in coming and we'll take you in pretty much, we'll take you in on loan. And to me, it was just kind of those factors between him being the head coach of Ireland and it being a World Cup year, and then the distance and travel being less than an hour for me to get to where Swinton trained from my house compared to 3 hours. Those were just the two main factors for me. Honest to God, if it was the same thing, if it was the same distance and all, I probably wouldn't have uprooted and made just so much of a fuss over those kind of things, because as I said, up at Whitehaven, it was just they were just the best fellas some of the best fellas I've ever met, and I'm still in touch with all of them. And from the coaching staff, from the top down, they were class. But it was just one of those ones when the head coach of Ireland is giving you a shout, you know what I mean, saying, "Do you want to come and link up and get yourself to Swinton?" I was like, yeah, 100%. And it's the distance too. So I was like, yeah, 100%. This is going to be a huge opportunity for me to kind of showcase what I'm about for a World Cup year. And at the end of the day, my goal for 2021 was the World Cup. That was the end goal of this year, was to go and play in the World Cup. So that to me was that was a no-brainer nearly to go play under Stu. But then obviously I only ended up at Swinton initially for 2 games before we had an outbreak of corona at Huddersfield, and I got recalled then for a good few weeks. So I was back at Huddersfield for a good 6 weeks maybe, because we just got injury crisis and an outbreak of corona all in a short period of time.
Yeah. So what was that like? I guess that weird period of time. Obviously, it's such a surreal thing, that COVID outbreak, to then be called back to Huddersfield. Obviously, now back at Swinton. How did that impact you positively or negatively?
I think it's one of those ones that it's just some adversity that comes along the way. Obviously, playing week in, week out is ideal, and that's what you want. You want to get consistency in games, but it's also an opportunity. I got recalled from Swinton, and I'm thinking, we have this many cases, we have this outbreak, we have these injuries. I'm hoping to play. I was named in a lot of the 21-man squads. I was hoping I was going to get my foot in the door there. Obviously, I was unfortunate not to, but it was one of those ones that although it's not ideal when you're not playing and you're just doing like non-players fitness and that kind of stuff, it's one of those ones that it's just another opportunity that I just took it with both hands and just used it as a chance to get myself back right, get myself back fit, and kick myself on either and further step whether I was playing or not. You know what I mean? It was a good chance to touch base with the Huddersfield coaches, showed them what I learned over the 6 weeks in the championship, and then kind of reevaluate for which is going back out and like have things to work on. Do you know what I mean? So I suppose that little mid-season kind of break to touch base with my Super League club, showed them that I'm still doing the right things, I'm still training hard and that, and like I'm still ready to go if you need to recall me, and just show them like I've not let myself go just because I'm playing championship. I'm still ready to kick on. And I think that was like another good opportunity. Obviously, it's not ideal to not be playing. No player wants to not be playing, but it's one of those ones that when you get a chance, you just have to be grateful for it again, and you just need to see the positive side of all of that kind of thing. So like, you could look at it as disruptive, but to me, it was just like this is just another step along the process, you know. And it's just one of those things that you have to deal with. Like no club is not dealing with coronavirus at the minute. You know what I mean? Every club across the Super League is dealing with it. There's people getting cases left, right, and centre. You know, so like whether it's disruptive for me, I'm sure there's plenty of people who are worse disrupted than just having to come back off alone. So for me, that was just like right, we'll kick on and I'll go show what I'm about back at Huddersfield.
Yeah, so let's bring it back to sort of now. The Swinton Lions are currently last on the ladder in the championship, but you guys have had a win and a draw in your past 2 games. Do you see a bit of momentum building towards this back end of the season for you guys? Obviously, you've got the Batley Bulldogs this weekend, I believe. Do you see you guys starting to build some of that momentum and possibly get off the bottom of the ladder and surprise some of these teams in the championship?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. I think that we're really going in a good direction at the minute. The boys are having a dig, and that's the main thing. But also, we've got some really big, important bodies coming back into the squad at the minute. So, like a lot of people coming back from injury, so we're really starting to gel together and get that momentum. And that's the thing. I feel like we play a good style of rugby league. Like we throw the ball around a lot, and like sometimes that may leave you vulnerable to being scored against. But at the end of the day, like a lot of the games that Swinton have lost have been narrow losses. You know what I mean? So I feel like we're on the right direction, building that momentum towards climbing right up the ladder, because we have the personnel there to get those wins now. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like the boys have turned the corner, and like getting that first win, that was huge for us against Dewsbury. And then obviously just a kick of a ball, a misconversion the weekend just gone by, just to beat Oldham as well. Like obviously a draw doesn't feel like a win to anyone. It just feels like a loss to both teams. But with no golden point in the championship, is what you have to deal with. But at the end of the day, I feel like we are pushing on in a really good direction. That's what I like to see, and that's what I like about the group at the minute.
Yeah, that's great to hear. Look, next season, obviously your loan with Swindon's going to end this year, but next season, obviously, again, a World Cup year, you're going to be looking, that's the goal, to play for Ireland in the World Cup. But is another goal of yours to maybe push your way into this Huddersfield Giants side? Or if not, if you do go out on loan, maybe to another Super League club if you can, to get that Super League experience? What's sort of your goal for next season? And what are you really looking to do?
Sorry, did that just reconnect? I think, speaking on goals, the main thing for me is Super League. Do you know, that's the top of the ladder. I just feel like this is just all part of the process of being a young lad, learning your trade. No reserve grade at the minute, but I'm not comfortable here. I'm not happy where I am at the minute. I'm grateful for the experience and the opportunity in the championship, but it's not. I know that I want to kick on to Super League. That's the goal at the end of the day, and I'm not content with just being where I'm at. Do you know what I mean? So no matter, like, I know where I want to be in the direction I want to head in. So that for me is a massive goal. Like next year to kick on into the Super League now and actually show what I'm about. Like I can take getting experience and all those kind of things, but at the end of the day, there's no way that I can just sit here happy, because I'm not playing Super League, and that's the reality, and that's where I want to be, because that's the next step on the journey. If I want to be a player who's be competitive at a World Cup, I have to be playing Super League, and they all tie into each other. Do you know what I mean? You have to be playing consistently well in Championship when you're on loan to prove to Huddersfield or whoever when I go to the Super League, that yeah, he's ready. He's ready. He can do a job for us. We can trust him, and that's part of this loan is to show that yeah, I can play consistently. I can do the right things. But at the end of the day, the goal is Super League. That's why I'm over here. That's where I want to be at. I want to show what I'm about, and that's just me. That's just how I am. Do you know what I mean? Like it's easy to sit back and say, "Oh yeah, this is all great. I'm playing games," and like which it is, and there's good sides to every story. But at the end of the day, it'd be wrong if I wasn't looking to kick on into Super League at the age I am.
Yeah, and I guess looking a bit further into the future now, let's say possibly within the next 5 years or so, obviously you've actually had a stint over in Australia at the start of 2020 that was interrupted by the coronavirus when you were on loan at the Canberra Raiders playing a bit of Jersey flag. Is it also a goal of yours to possibly one day come back out and play in the NRL, possibly for Canberra?
Sorry, I just missed the last bit of that. What after Jersey flag?
Yeah, is it a goal of yours to one day come back out to Australia and play in the NRL, possibly for Canberra, who you played with in the Jersey flag?
Mate, honest to God, like if you're playing rugby league and your end goal isn't to play in the best competition in the world, I don't know, you're not to me, and that just speaking about it excites me. Like everyone who asks me knows that I really enjoyed my time at Canberra, and like it was a really eye-opening experience for me in the sense that like I was like, oh wow, here's another level. There's another level to this game. Do you know what I mean? And as I said before about the World Cup, testing myself against the best players possible is where I want to be and what I want to do. And that's just how I am as a player. But I suppose it's just one of those things that there's a process and there's stepping stones along the way. And I can't really be one to speak at the minute about kicking on all the way when I just need to get myself playing consistent Super League at the minute,
Yeah.
and then kick on again. And it's not that those goals don't exist, but I just need to be humble in the fact that at the minute I'm on loan and playing Championship, and I need to earn the right to get to say these kind of things. Do you know what I mean? And that excites me. It excites me in the sense that it's something that I'd love to do, and the passion's there to do it. But I also don't want to be one of those people who just talks about all these things and then there's no action behind the words, you know. So like, yeah, it's definitely something that I'd love to go on and do because, as everyone knows, I love my time in Australia. But at the minute, the tunnel vision's on next year's World Cup and Super League, and that's where I'm at the minute to prove myself that if I was going to get a shot over in the NRL, that I want to be someone who earns it and grabs it with both hands, you know. And I want to prove that yeah, I can do this. Like if I'm going to be another Super League player to go over to the NRL, I want to go over and go over and kill it. And that's just would be the goal, anyways.
Yeah, well, Ronan, I'm rooting for you. I believe that you can do it. I believe especially that next year you can break your way into Super League and play in the 2022 Rugby League World Cup. But Ronan, if anyone wants to sort of follow along with your journey to possibly getting back into the NRL one day or back over here in Australia, where can they follow you?
You can find me on Instagram. It's just my name, Ronan Michael. Twitter's the same. Ronan J Michael. Probably Instagram or Twitter, and obviously my inbox is always open to anyone who wants to shoot me a message if they ever need any advice or anything along the lines, or just wants to follow along the journey of an Irishman trying to figure out the whole rugby league scene. They're more than welcome to, and of course, just follow along.
Yeah, well, Ronan, I want to thank you so much for your time today. I want to thank everyone who has tuned in to hear or watch Ronan's amazing story as well. Ronan, take care, and I'm sure we'll be in touch soon.